Hello everyone and welcome to a Descent Journeys in the Dark 2nd edition, the Labyrinth of Ruin expansion. If I get this out of the way, because my strategies and tactics is for the Treasure Hunter. Okay, well, this is going to be very intriguing because there's a lot of good things and a lot of things. Okay, firstly, what do you get? You get the Leather Whip. It is an exotic melee weapon. So you have Reach, Splinter Surge, Pierce 1, and Splinter Surge move the target 1 space. Yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, so the blue attack dice and the yellow power dice, and it's only a one-hand weapon. Well, what else do you get? You get a trinket, which is the Dead Man's Compass. So you exhaust this card during your turn. If you are within 3 spaces of a search token, immediately gain 1 movement point. The thing is, it's like when you're within 3 spaces of the search token, you don't have to move towards it. You can go any direction you like yeah, that's not too bad actually. Just within 1 movement point, you can ignore the searched token if you want, just in case you might think you're going to be trapped by monsters and all that. Right, and now for the first skill that you get, which is Delver. Right, if you are not adjacent to any other hero, each of your attacks gain +1 damage. Which is good because as a scout, of course, you're always going to be running around acting crazy. Each time you draw a search card, instead draw 2 and choose 1 to keep, then place the other search card either on top or the bottom of the deck, and it's completely passive. So this is actually one of the best things ever. Not only doing an additional damage when you're not near a hero, but also drawing the search cards that you actually want. So especially finding the chest, or even if you're playing the Lair of the Worm or the Trollfens, trying to find the hidden passage, which, let's face it, that's good. Right, on to the next. What are you going to spend your experience points on? Well, Dungeoneer. Right, so it's a skill, so exhaust this card to perform a search action. While this card is exhausted, you may perform one attack during your turn without using an action, and it only takes a stamina. So 1 stamina to make a search action and attack. As long as you are within range, that is, since you only start off with that whip, which is a melee weapon, but it actually has reach. You might be looking for some kind of bow or some kind. However, I think it's still a good card. Literally, 1 stamina, do a search and attack. You can't go wrong there. Even if you have to go a little bit more further as you see enemies about, you know, like stamina in kind of thing. Still a good investment. I think I'd definitely get that. What about others? Survey. You gain 1 stamina even while this card is exhausted, and of course everyone likes stamina. Well, what about the rest of it though? Exhaust this card during your turn to look at the top 3 cards of the search deck. You may return the cards on top of the search deck in any order you choose, and it only takes a stamina to use that. Right, problems. Well, you got the Delver skill already, and that lets you pick up 2 but you get to pick one, and then you get to either put it on the top or the bottom. I think this would be a lot more better if it's the top 3 cards of the search deck, then turn any of them to the top or bottom of the deck. Now, this card would make that a lot more better. However, it's not all that good. The only way that this card can be used really well is if the treasure hunter is not going to be doing any searching and someone else is going to be the searching, but that would be kind of pointless because the Delver lets you pick up 2 search cards anyway, yeah, I mean, this card isn't all that great at all. Well, it does allow you to do it like in your turn, and you don't have to be near the search cards. Yeah, it's just it's literally do this first, then make or get another hero to pick up the best search card out of those 3, and then when it comes down to your turn, and if you're like doing a search as well, you already know what the other 2 is, and then you could just pick the one that you want and maybe put the other one at the bottom, and they're all good. Then this card isn't all that worth it. I'd definitely put it to one side and maybe not bother with it at all. Save your experience point. Right, now for the last one. Gold Rush. Focus, that's it. Good camera. Right. Exhaust the card during your turn, immediately after performing a search action. So it's definitely one that you have to perform a search. Okay. You gain movement points equal to the number of search cards you have face down or face up to a maximum of 5. While this card is exhausted, you may move through enemy figures. That's great. That's great. You could say. You could also say that's a bit meh, because let's face it, in a 2-hero player, this card isn't going to do much at all. The best way of using this card, however, is you got to pay attention to the bottom part. You know, it's like, while this card is exhausted, you may move through enemy figures. This is something that you want to make sure you have the 2 actions left. Therefore, when you do one of the actions, you do a search to do the search card thing, and then you gain your movement point or points. All depends on how many search cards you have. So it could be like 1, or as it says up to 5. Who knows? Like I said, it's a lot more better with a 4-player or even a 3-player. That's fine. And then let's like, for your other one, you're better off with moving, because as it states, while the card is exhausted, you can move through enemy figures. Not just when this card is just used. So as your second action, you're going to be move. You can move through the enemy figures, get past them, go to your objective, or go to the next search card, etc, etc. This card was probably going to be a lot more better in like the second encounter. As the first encounter, you probably won't have that many search cards, or when it comes down to it, everyone can just give you their search cards in the just before the start of the second encounter. You'll hear a lot of that. The second encounter would be better for this card. All in all, it's not too shabby. You could get it, you might not want it. As I said, it's a lot more better with 4-player, not so bad with 3-player, not great with 2. Right. What else are you going to get? Because you want to spend a little bit more experience points. Oh, let's have a look, shall we? Law of Fortune. Right. Each time you perform a search action, you recover a health and a stamina. Right. Additionally, each time you defeat a monster, you may move the top card of the search deck to the bottom of the deck without looking at it. It's not really much of a big deal, really, if you think about it. I can't think of anything great for this one, especially if you don't suffer any damage at all. By the time you actually picked up maybe 2 search cards already, you probably haven't suffered anything. Probably the best way of thinking about doing this is stamina next to a search card, so you still got that extra movement point. So in other words, you've got a movement of 4, and you're 4 out to the search card. You move 3, stamina in 1, perform the search action, and then you still got that 1 movement point to go wherever you like. This bit is, yeah, you have no other choice but to defeat the monster. If you don't defeat it, you don't get this additional action thing, but it's really boring. This could only be fine if you're using Survey, you know, the card where you look at the top 3 cards of the deck and put them in any order. It's not that great, especially with your first starting card, which is Delver. You know, when you do a search action, you pick up 2, put one of them on the top or bottom of the search deck anyway, so it's not that great. I'd probably skip that. Right, guard the spoils. Okay, almost losing my balance on the camera. Right, exhaust this card when you're targeted by an attack. Before dice are rolled, I don't like those before dice are rolled stuff. Add the following dice to your defense pool depending on how many search cards you have. And when it comes down to how many search cards you have, like I say, an encounter 2 would be far more better. Right, 0 to 1, brown, 2 grey, 3 plus black, and it takes a stamina. Now, as I was saying, it's before dice are rolled, so the attack could actually miss automatically. You know, like roll an X and you've already wasted a stamina. Yeah, and it does state exhaust the card, so if that attack did miss and you used it, you can't actually use it again if other monsters are attacking. And yet again, it is all about search cards, and it seems to be might be a little bit more better when it comes down to encounter 2, as you should have at least 3. Although I do like the 0 to 1, so even if you don't have any search cards on you, you still get a brown dice, you know, just in case. Is it worth it? It could be, especially when you're fighting against like big monsters or even lieutenants that can hit hard. It's not too bad. Well, let's have a look at the other one. Sleight of hand. While you have an exotic or bow weapon equipped, which is nice, as it states bow or exotic, each of your attacks gains Pierce 2, even while this card is exhausted, which, let's face it, also Pierce 2 is very nice. Since most creatures only have a grey defense dice, having a maximum of 3, you're more than likely going to be doing damage anyway, and unless you miss. And let's face it, you don't want to miss. Missing's terrible. Right, so when another hero draws a search card, exhaust this card to allow him to immediately give the search card to you. There could be some problems, however, there might not be much problems. For example, say another hero decided to do a search action and has a healing potion, but already has maximum health. That hero don't need it, so you might as well go, I'll have that. Which yet again could actually help with your bonus movement or additional defense dice, you know, like that. Well, yeah, you know, you just get the Pierce of 2, even if you don't use this ability. I don't really have much. It's literally the Pierce of 2 is what you're looking at. That's auto, by the way. That's really nice. I'd probably say it might be more of a so-so, because the bottom ability can work with maybe the survey, you know, the look at the top 3 cards deck. So just in case if you're nowhere near a search card and you really need like a stamina potion or health potion, and you put that on top, then you could ask the next hero along to do a search action when they're near a search card, so they can immediately take it out of their hands. That's the only combo I know that could go along with that. Right, well, enough about that. How about the bigger type ones, the ones that take 3 experience points? Right, you have got the Trail of Riches. If you have 2 or more search cards, yet again, if you have like 2 heroes, it's going to be really difficult to have this, as it states you have to have 2 or more. It might be better in the second encounter. Right. Okay, so face up or face down. Actually, that's the other way around, but who cares? You may exhaust this card to search a search token within 3 spaces of you without using an action, and it only takes 1 stamina. So within 3 spaces of you, use a stamina just to make a search action, but it won't count as an action, which is absolutely perfect with a 4 hero game. Pretty good with a 3 player game. It might be a bit tricky with a 2 player game. When I say player, I mean heroes, because of course 3 players mean 2 heroes. Anyway, yeah, I think it's a not too shabby card. I'd think about it. If you're having troubles picking up these search cards anyway, because you're too focused on the objective, and why wouldn't you be, then you might want to ignore that. This one is Finders Keepers. So it's a skill. Perform an attack with an exotic weapon. Now this is exactly states exotic weapon and not exotic or bow, which brings it down a lot, which is a shame. Okay, add in an additional green power dice to your attack pool, so automatically you're getting a green dice, which is nice. This attack gains surge +1 damage for each search card you have face up or face down. Actually, it's the other way around. up to a maximum of +4, and it only takes a stamina. So stamina, have an exotic weapon equipped, make an attack, add an additional green dice. Well, you're gonna have at least like 1 or 2 search cards, right? Right? Well, let's hope that you are, because you can be doing an additional 1 or 2 damage. Unless it's a 4-player game, then you're probably going to be doing 4 damage. In a 4-player game, perfect. In a 3-player game, yeah, pick up on a 2-player game. Well, yeah, I still can't think of anything wrong with it, because you're still getting that power dice, and you don't actually have to spend a surge for this. You know, you do have the weapons that you can actually use for their own weapon abilities. Don't forget about that. Just in case you don't have any search cards, or it's just not worth it right there and then. Like, I don't know, you have 1 search card, but one of the weapons is use 2 surges, you get +5 damage, for example, or something like that. You don't have to spend this. Yes, it's an extremely nice card. I would probably definitely go with that. Well, how about we go on the shopping spree and have a look what you want to get. Belt of Water Walking. You gain 1 willpower up to a maximum of 6. In addition, you treat water spaces as normal spaces, you know, just to get to those search cards quickly, and nothing can slow you down. Scorpion Helm, range attacks is +1 range, just in case you want to use range weapons. There are plenty of range weapons here, so don't worry about that. You've got a Lucky Charm, which is reroll attribute test. You don't want to be well, poisoned or anything stupid like that. You got a hand bow, which is a bow and exotic, by the way. You only perform 1 attack though, and let's face it, that's probably what you're going to be doing. It's either move, attack, or search, attack, or whatever. Attack. Right, Mana Weave, exhaust a card to add a surge. Elven Boots, +1 movement. You also have the Ring of Power, +1 stamina. Get stamina in quickly. Flash Powder, test your awareness. If you pass 1 monster adjacent to you, you're stunned, and you may move up to your speed. Stun a monster, move out of the way, search, kind of thing. Right, Chainmail, you can't equip wounds, big whoop, and your speed is 4, but you do get a grade dice to keep you alive a little bit more better. Heavy Cloak, cancel a surge that's targeting you. Leather armor, +1 health, and a brown defense dice. Also, your Thief's Vest, might and awareness is +1, and you gain a brown defense dice. You have the Bow of Bone. If you haven't moved, add 1 additional green to your attack pool. And there's the double surge things that I was talking about before. Dire Flail, it's an exotic weapon with reach, blue, yellow, green. If the attack misses or deal no damage, it deals 1 damage to you. But still, it's an exotic weapon. You got the Iron Shield, just in case you want to equip something, because there are quite a few one-handed exotic weapons. Even the Iron Spear, you know, reach, spin a surge, damage, surge, pierce. It's one-handed. A crossbow, which is a bow and exotic. It's only a one-hand. Pierce 1, +2 damage, +1 damage, and move the target 1 space. Here's another shield, the Deflecting Shield. Exhaust a card after rolling defense dice and add 1 to the results. Then choose an adjacent figure. That figure suffers 1 damage. A sling, which is exotic. Yeah, stun and all that. It's one hand. Shield of Light. You get to exhaust a card after rolling defense dice. Add one or reroll one dice, or add one to the results. If you suffer no damage, you actually recover one health. You have the Trident, which is again exotic. One hand. Reach, surge +2, surge, gain 2 movement points. Red dice there. Told you there's lots of exotic. Here, a Elm Great Bow. Adjacent figures do not block the line of sight. Surge +2, surge +2 range. And yet another exotic weapon, which is the Poisoned Blowgun. Pierce 1, 1 surge. It's 1 damage and poison, 1 surge, +1 range and damage. It is quite weak though. What about shopping in Act 2? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Shroud of Dusk, all attributes +1. Keep those conditions away and all that. The Trivial Crystal, exhaust a card to roll 1 red power dice. You gain that much health back. Black Iron Helm, +2 health and 1 additional defense. The Ironbound Ring, +2 health. If you roll any blanks, you get to add 1 to your defense. It's just to keep you alive, you know, keep on moving and searching. Scale Mail, you can't equip runes, big whippity doo, but you do get a grey dice. Before rolling a defense dice, you may suffer a stamina to add an additional brown as well. Demon Hide Leather, grey dice. When you perform 2 move actions on your turn, you suffer a stamina. Well, scouts do tend to have the good amount of stamina, so that should be fine. I have the Obsidian Scale Mail. You can't be cursed, so you get a black defense dice, and each time you are attacked, you suffer no damage and recover 2 stamina, which is nice, but you can only perform 1 skill on ability per turn. Yeah, it's just for more survivability, really. Cloak of Deception, if you roll blank on any defense dice, you can exhaust this to test your awareness. If you pass, you are not affected by the attack, and you get a grey dice there. The Elven Cloak, exhaust a card after rolling defense dice to replace the results with a number of shields to your awareness. You have the Dwarven Firebomb, exotic. Yeah, range, damage, blast, and stun. 1 hand. Boomerang, exotic. If an attack with this weapon deals at least 1 damage, unequip it. 1 surge for 2 range, +1 damage, and 2 surge for weaken. Yeah. 1 hand there. The Heavy Steel Shield, exhaust card and reroll 1 defense dice and add 1 to the results. Iron Claws, exotic. It's a melee though. If your other hand is empty, add an additional green dice. Triple surge +5 damage, double surge +2, and it's a one-handed, of course. A glaive, which is a melee weapon but with reach. When attacking with a non-adjacent target, add an additional red power dice to your attack pool. How it is 2 hands. We've got pairs of 2. Yeah, plenty of exotics, by the way. Bow of the Eclipse, which is a bow and exotic. You might be looking for this. Pairs of 2, double surge, +1 range, +3 damage, +1 range, and a +1 damage for just 1 surge. With all of that. Yeah, nice. And you got a Latari longbow. It is just a bow though. Pierce 1, range 2, +2 damage. and Bow of the Sky. So bow, range with stun. Double surge plus 3 damage. Well, that's all I've got. I don't really have anything else. The treasure hunter does seem to be really quite fun. We're just running around collecting the search cards. However, you might be missing out on your objectives. However, getting those search cards will give you a lot more cash. Getting you cash means better items. So eventually you probably start winning. Yeah, that's what I have. Until next time. Bye.